Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
League, and I see Danny come in and just do a rebuild in a year. Who does that? I mean, Trustman and Pop did it in 2017 with the Argos, but they had Ricky Ray. You guys didn't even have a entrenched quarterback. You had to go out and sign Cody. So, like, how would you say they did it?
Well, look, I think obviously, Rod, first of all, you took the big money move. Like, you're making the big money now, so let's just get that out of the way first of all, okay? Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah.
I see how it is. When I'm older, I want to be like you. I keep telling people. But seriously, on a more serious note, obviously you have to sign the right players. So you have to be confident in your scouting in and out of the league. But the other thing is, and I know that people on the outside, they kind of roll their eyes at this sometimes, but they built a culture here. They built it. It took some time. It took about half a season, but from ownership on down through president, general manager, and head coach, those guys helped build a culture here. And this is a really tight-knit group. And I know everybody says that, but Rod, you go in this locker room downstairs, and you have defensive backs playing ping pong against a defensive lineman or an offensive lineman. You have guys, I've never seen a team, different portions and position groups of a team come together and really be one and hang out. And I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. Like, it's crazy how tight-knit this group is. And I feel like, yes, talent is a big part of it. They signed the right players. They brought in the right guys. They had some really good midseason acquisitions like Lemon and Sankey, and that all helped. But the culture that Danny and Jason and everyone above them have built, just on the way here is really special to watch. And I think it's a big reason why they had that success. And that's how you do it. I don't know how you do a rebuild in 1 year, but they figured out a way.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hey, welcome to the RP Show, episode number 1271. Let's go with that, of your favorite daytime sports talk show, coming at you on the Game Plus television network. Hi to everybody across Canada, watching on Game Plus TV and in 31 U.S. states. And to our radio listeners in Atlanta, howdy do on WQEE. Hello, everybody, and Rhino Radio, who runs that wonderful radio station down there. And, of course, we're streaming. I'm at the beautiful Golden Ticket Sports Complex Sports Center here in Moose Jaw, and Moose is in Toronto, and they've brought him in. Moose, are you ready to rock? What do you got for me? What's happening today?
Dude, I'm ready to rock, man. Let's go. I don't like 2 days off in the Stanley Cup Finals. I want it to be game day already. But you know what? I actually like that we can have a day for football all to itself without hockey, but it's tough when you got to balance both.
Have you been reading my diary? Because that is literally in my notes. So coming up today, Bruce Dowbiggin's going to be with us, celebrated sports author and formerly host of his own show on CBC. Bruce Dowbiggin will be with us, the Doughboy from Calgary. And Andrew Harris, the Hall of Fame-bound running back, four-time Grey Cup champion. Andrew Harris, the topic of that brand-new Relentless documentary, which was released on Friday night in downtown Toronto. Can you hit the quick six show horn, please? Whoever's running the ship there. I think it's Director Tuna. And number one, I just want to throw this in from David in Winnipeg. David, number one, he goes, 5 hours of sports talk for this guy between the RP Show, Winnipeg Sports Talk, and finishing with Bonfire Sports. LFG. Yes, hello, Winnipeg. We're very big in Winnipeg. But we're going to open with this, Darren. We do it every day. The big story, and today it remains the Stanley Cup Final. I've snatched this from the Sports Wire. The Stanley Cup Final between the Oilers and the Florida Panthers is off until Friday's Game 6 in Edmonton. The Panthers will try again to finish the series. Their 3-0 series lead has dwindled to 3-2. Game 7, if necessary, goes Monday in Sunrise, Florida. So I got a few notes here, and I want you to know something because you're sitting out there in Toronto. You're doing your Toronto things. Emotions are very high. People are on edge in both cities. And I've talked with you about this before we went to air today. We recorded our Cats and Bolts podcast yesterday where, yeah, we cover the Florida Panthers and Tampa Bay Lightning. I take the Panthers side of things. The co-host, Serena, my gal, she's an Oilers fan. She said so. Apparently, I thought it was her, said some things that upset the Panthers fans. So they're coming at us today. And with the Oilers fans, listen, I think I've been on the air in this country for a very long time. A lot of people know my deal, but I'll say it again. I grew up an Oilers fan, and Darren, I got lifelong friends that are Oilers fans. Lifelong friends. Our hockey allegiances don't matter. But I got some texting me going, I booked my flight to Fort Lauderdale. I got my ticket for Game 7. I'm bringing my towel. This is Gibby Gibbons, the hockey player from Minot, I told you. I wrote him back. I said, hey, Gibby, I hope that you've got refundable airfare on that one. He writes me back, smiling, laughing emoji. Like, with the Oilers fans, we can do that. They don't get upset. But the Panthers fans, we said in our show yesterday, the Cats and Bolts podcast, that the Panthers haven't faced adversity all playoffs. And they're all going up in arms in that. They haven't faced adversity all playoffs. And to be honest, they're still not facing elimination. They go into Game 6. They're not facing elimination, so they haven't faced adversity. So that's one of the notes that I have on the difference in the two fan bases here going into Game 6. So maybe, the Oilers fans are emotionally fraught too, but the Panthers fans are on edge, and you can see why.
This doesn't happen very often to them. And I went back and looked at their schedule just twice this year. They lost 4 in a row. They're not used to losing stretches of games like this and dealing with that adversity. Now it's playoffs, it's a different team. If, and I only say if, they lose Game 6 and they face that winner, it's over in Game 7, we'll really see what they're made of with their backs against the wall. But you're right, your backs aren't against the wall, but it does feel like it now going into Game 6 a little bit because tensions are getting high, man. Tensions are getting really high. And the Oilers and their fans, they're playing with house money. Got nothing to lose. They're playing with house money.
Okay, well, there's one thing. It's interesting that you brought that up because Chris Knobloch said that yesterday, the head coach. But I will just say this. I talked to Serena this morning, and she said the word in the gym, our gym in Boca Raton, Johnny O's, is that the Panthers are done. And that's amongst Panthers fans. They're done, which reminds me, I think my 4th book will probably be entitled Windows. It'll be about windows, Darren, in life. And if somebody's already written this book, don't tell me because I don't want to know. Because it's a concept that's probably not new, but it's a concept that is thought. There are windows in life. There's windows where a relationship can be saved, a job can be had, a marriage can be saved. Walk through the window. And I wonder for the Panthers if they missed the window of this series because it should be over. It should be over. So into my next, it would be a hell of a book, wouldn't it? Recognize the windows, when they're open and when they close. Because once it's closed, there ain't no going back. And don't sit there looking out the window because it's closed. Move on, right? And when the window's open, jump through it if that's what you want to do. Coming to a bookstore near you by Rod Pedersen, celebrated best-selling author, Windows. So to the PR battle, like I'm enjoying this. You mentioned the spacing in the games. I went back and looked at the 1994 Stanley Cup Final, which until this series, I believe was the longest geographical difference between teams, Vancouver Canucks, New York Rangers. Although it started earlier, May 31st, and ended June 14th, the spacing was about the same. There was 2-3 days in between games in that series to allow for travel. We just didn't have the digital media back then. Shoot, we didn't really even have the internet. Believe it or not, we didn't. So the timing, the spacing really is no different. But now it just feels like we're seeing Knobloch and Paul Maurice more at a microphone or a podium than we are on the bench. It's probably driving them nuts. They are a little overexposed. But it's become a bit of a PR battle, and I want your take on this. And the audience, too, by the way, 902-518-3033, Sober Carpenter text line. Write us now. Sober Carpenter, non-alcoholic craft beers. Ask for them by name at your local beer, wine, and spirit store or on the streams. I see Chris Knobloch saying, hey, we're playing with house money. He said it yesterday. I don't know if you saw that, and that's where you got it, or you're beating the same drum as him. Or Paul Maurice, who said yesterday, I don't buy the narrative that the pressure's now all on us. It's like, are you saying that for your players? Are you saying it for the media? Are you saying it for yourself? because if it maybe not all the pressure's shifted, but a lot of the pressure has shifted on the Florida Panthers, and expectations are a bitch. So the PR battle is fun to watch too. What's your take on those comments by the coaches?
It's really fun to watch the PR battle, Rod. It is. And for Knobloch, he's in such a good spot at the podium because the house money analogy is a good one. You know, first year coach, he's accomplished what he's needed to accomplish this year. It's already a success. I mean, getting to the Cup final is a success for anybody. So he's sitting there being like, we've overachieved already in Edmonton. This is great. Now for McDavid, Draisaitl, there's more pressure on them than there is on Chris Knobloch. But there's a lot of pressure on Paul Maurice. He's been around a while. He's had really good teams. He's been to the playoffs, and he hasn't won the big one, the Stanley Cup. And he's right on the edge, right on the edge. So he has to be feeling a lot of that pressure to just get over it. He just needs one more win, 3 periods. That's it, once more. But I saw a great quote. It was on one of my, an Instagram reel or a TikTok or something I was watching yesterday. And it said, nothing in life that's worth having is not won without adversity. Nothing comes without adversity. And in the Stanley Cup final, in the playoffs, sure, but in the final, there's been no adversity for the Panthers until now. So if they want to win the Cup, here's the adversity. They got to get through it.
Right, and that's where Paul Maurice is going to earn his money as coach, and we're going to find out what the Florida Panthers are made of. And that's all great stuff. They haven't lost this series. The question is just, has the window closed? Because this series should be over. It should be over. Okay? And it's not. You let him wiggle off the hook. And don't tell me for 1 second that Paul Maurice has not laid down at night and put his head on his pillow since Tuesday night and said, what if we don't win this thing? You can't tell me, because I'll tell you what, you can't block negative thoughts from coming into your head. You can't. You can, however, control how long they stick around. Right? But don't tell me that has not entered his head. Now, this is important before I move on to the next topic. Roy in Regina writes in 902-518-3033. He sent some link to Instagram, and I might ask, please don't do that. I've said it a million times. You all aren't listening, but I'm just going to say it for my own self. Don't send links to Facebook and Instagram, or for that matter, anything else. So I'm not opening your link. But he texted words with it. He goes, I like this because Florida Panthers announcers were knocking that McDavid is no big deal as a hockey player. I'm going to stop reading right there. The Florida Panthers did not say that Connor McDavid is not no big deal as a hockey player. It was Greg Cote of the Miami Herald. And to be honest, Bill Lindsay is a Florida Panthers announcer. He came on the Cats and Bolts podcast and says, I don't want that in any way to represent the Florida Panthers organization or our broadcast. What Greg Cote says is what Greg Cote says. That's not us. That's not how we feel about Connor McDavid. So fake news, AI, all that crap just twists what people think. But you got it wrong, Roy. It was the guy from the Miami Herald who I haven't seen it. I've seen him once in 3 years at in the rink saying Connor McDavid's overrated. So don't put that on the Panthers. That just, God, that pisses me off. As you know, I mean, it's one thing to mislead people. It's another to deliberately mislead people. And people are going to hear things and think this, and it just drives me nuts. Anyways, any thoughts on that before I move on?
No, and that's coming up, saying, look at, and to the flip side, what McDavid's done in these last 2 games with your back against the wall in the Stanley Cup final, 8 points in 2 games, like that's stuff of legends, right? Like willing this team back from being down 0-3 in the series. And if he finds a way, it's funny how we'll look at this. If they lose game 6, we'll forget about the 2 games and the 8 points and what he did when they were facing elimination. We'll forget about that. But if he comes in and helps the Oilers come all the way back, first time since 1942, this will be in documentaries. This will live on a loop at the Hockey Hall of Fame. This will be one of those legendary moments that we'll talk about for generations.
And it's a riveting series. We'll talk more about this in the next segment and throughout the show. Bruce Dowbiggin and Andrew Harris coming up. I do want to move on to the CFL. I will tell you, though, to elevate your game here at Golden Ticket Sports Center in Moose Jaw, where passion meets performance, check out our website at goldenticketsportscenter.com. There's a yoga class going on right now, Darren, on the 2nd floor. I can see them, and it's all I can do not to jump in that class because I need The Montreal Alouettes will look to maintain their perfect record tonight as they host the Ottawa Red Blacks. The Owls are 2-0 to start the campaign. The Red Blacks played their first game of the season last week and took a 23-19 win off the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So I waited till this morning to read the game notes. To be honest, it's the first morning in a long time I was able to sit on the deck, have a coffee, and enjoy the sun. Out here in Western Canada, Darren, I didn't come home for the summer, for winter. But whatever. It was finally nice enough to sit out on the deck today and have a coffee and read the game notes. So here's this. Cody Fajardo is 3-0 for Montreal as quarterback against Ottawa. He is on a personal 7-game winning streak. And what else? Everything else is pointing to Montreal winning tonight. And if you remember in the playoffs last year, all the stats pointed to in the East Final Toronto winning, and Montreal went in and did a big on that. I think in the regular season, the game notes and the trends are a thing, and in the playoffs, they are not. And for that, but this is what the other one was. This is the first time since 2016 that Ottawa and Montreal have faced each other, with both teams being above 500. It's a hell of a game tonight. Have I got you sold, Darren? Is that enough to make you think? Yeah, what are you thinking?
Yeah, Rod, it was my dark horse for game of the week. Like, I think this game, right behind Winnipeg, BC, is the game of the week. And I think there's a big gap before the other two. And it's not a thing against the other two. I'm just really interested in this. Montreal, can they continue to be a team that's going to put their foot down tonight and say, we are here as the defending champions, and it's not by accident. We are the team to beat in the East. And for Ottawa, Drew Brown looked really good, but there was rain and all the rest, and they beat a Winnipeg team that I say had the yips. This is another opportunity for Ottawa to say, hello, we're for real. We're back. Bob Dice, kind of a statement win against the defending champs. And all of a sudden, if you're Hamilton at 0-2, if you're Toronto, who's in a good spot, you're sitting there being like, we got to worry about Montreal and Ottawa now? We thought Ottawa was going to be in the basement. So big statement game for both teams tonight.
I'm still thinking about Jim Barker last week. He's like, I don't think Darren's right. I don't think Moose is right that they've got the yips. I just think they've lost their confidence.
How about that?
That's what he's saying. Okay, we're going to go a little long here, like a minute over. Clark, you can throw up the pick graphic if you want. Darren, let's go with our picks right now. Let's get it right out of the way. Ottawa, Montreal tonight. Who you got to win?
Montreal.
Moi aussi. That's me too en français. BC at Winnipeg Friday night. Who you got to win?
I have Winnipeg winning.
That's two of us. The Edmonton Elcamos at the Toronto Argonauts on Saturday. Who you got?
Toronto.
Me too. Until Edmonton proves that they're not Edmonton, I'm going to go with the other team. And for me, the game of the week is Hamilton at Sask. We'll talk more about this, but that's always a special matchup to me, no matter where it is. Hamilton at Sask. Who you got to win?
I think I got to go with Hamilton. I don't think they'll lose in back-to-back weeks.
Okay, I'm taking the Riders. So there you go. Finally, we got a little bit of a rub. Give us your picks, folks, in the comments. You can text them in if you'd like. We'll be right back. Bruce Dowbiggin and Andrew Harris are on the way. We are live on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Live, and Spotify.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
The 80s Club, live in Moose Jaw. Honeymoon Suite, along with a flock of seagulls. Men without hats. And spoons. All together for one night at Moose Jaw Event Center, Saturday, November 16th. Tickets on sale now at sastix.ca or the Moose Jaw Event Center box office.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Rick Regan. And by the way, just before we bring the Moose back in, here's a reminder to sign up for Landmark Extras for free. It's a rewards program with our wonderful partners, Landmark Cinemas. Go to landmarkcinemas.com for showtimes, of course, but then peruse the programs that you can sign up for. There are 3 of them to choose from, and then start racking up your free movies, free concession items, invites to special events. That's what it comes with. So do it and thank me later. All right, let's bring in the Moose. I had such a great time at the ballpark last night, and I'm going to tell you why. Darren, you know some of these stories. I just want to dip into the comments from the viewers for a second regarding our CFL picks in Week 3. Stephen in North Dakota writes in, and he says, my name mashup, El Camos, lives on. Approved. Stephen in North Dakota came up with that name, El Camos. I couldn't remember who it was. Everybody seems to like it. And Jen is watching in Southern California and says, her Red Blacks are winning. You people don't know what you're talking about. So I'm going to throw in baseball for a second. Jaron Duran and Emmanuel Valdez hit solo home runs. Brian Bello pitched 6 innings to snap a 3-star winless streak, and the Boston Red Sox beat the Blue Jays to complete a 3-game sweep on Wednesday. The past 8 series between Boston and Toronto have all been sweeps. The Red Sox have won 3. The Blue Jays are 9-20 when they make at least 1 error, and that happened again last night. Again, it's like, do you have a toilet flushing sound, Clark? Because that is Canada's following. Yeah, that'll work. That's Canada following the Blue Jays, right? Now they're just waiting for everybody to get fired. So I just want to throw in something here with the Western Canadian Baseball League, and I want your take on this. Last night, I was at the microphone for the Medicine Hat Mavericks, winning 15-7 here in Moose Jaw over the Miller Express. An 8-run 4th inning did in the Millers. The Regina Red Sox bombed Weyburn 21-4, Saskatoon over Brooks 3-2, Sylvan Lake over Swift Current 15-8, and Lethbridge down to Okotoks 9-4 to snap a 5-game win streak for the Dogs. And we, every Tuesday now, will be doing the Western Canadian Baseball League chat here on this show. But last night, this is what I love about doing this, and it's in my commentary today. I had a family. I'm walking into the ballpark, and it's like literally being in a Shoresy episode or Letterkenny. I'm not joking, but now I recognize it, so I enjoy it even more. There's a new car in the parking lot. That's the small, intimate feeling of what we're doing here in this league. Hey, there's an Impala with Nebraska plates. That's new. I noticed that. So I get into the press box. I'm doing my prep, and all of a sudden there's a knock on the door, and it was the Mensick family. Nate Mensick, our star right fielder, who leads the team in home runs. His aunt and uncle had driven all the way up from Nebraska. They're like, Rod, this is, if you don't mind, we can bother you. We're Nate's uncle, Rod, and Aunt Marcy. We drove all the way from Nebraska. We're here for the homestead. We just wanted to say hi. We watch all the games, and we just wanted to meet you. And I was like, well, it's a pleasure to meet you. I apologize that I've sucked so bad. This is my first season doing baseball, so bear with me. Thanks for sticking with me. And she's like, well, you're getting better.
How about
And then
that?
they walked away. I was like, it's not that bad. But anyways, the families are up on this homestand, and that's the thing, the kibitzing with the players. The guys were ribbing Bobby Biceps about his interview on here the other day and how nervous he was. And that's fun stuff, man. That's why I got into this business in the first place. I swear, to have fun.
Well, and the business should be fun. And you know what? It is fun. That's what's so great about it. You know, and when you're spend enough time around a group of guys or gals in one team, you have these special moments that you don't have when you go from building to building, team to team. It's a different feeling, more intimate, and definitely a lot of fun. So I'm glad you're enjoying it.
It's just people is what makes the world go round. It's what makes them special. Moving on. Point 4, I'm just throwing this in here. Canada's men's soccer team kicks off the Copa America today, taking on World Cup champion Argentina. Canada comes into the tournament ranked 49th in the world, while the Lionel Messi-led Argentines are number 1. The tournament continues through July 14th. I just can't. We got the guy in the Game Plus studio telling me to get into cricket. My friends are saying they're all into soccer, which is totally cool. Thad's texting me because he's a big German fan, Team Germany. And I'm like, guys, I just can't. My plate's too full. I'm doing this show. I'm calling baseball at night. I'm doing full-time addiction recovery work. You guys have fun with the soccer. Are you into it?
I will be. Canada's
okay,
playing.
Good.
Of course,
somebody
I'll
has to be.
And yeah, and I'll probably watch too because Canada's playing. So it'll be a football night, both the football and the American football at the same time. So yeah, we'll try and balance the two.
Okay, good. I'm glad somebody is. I'm just saying, don't expect me to sit here. I'll mention the scores and everything, but to sit down and I'm obviously not going to analyze it. I can't. Because we got other things. We actually have the Saskatchewan Rattlers sponsoring the Rod Pedersen Show. The pro basketball team plays at a SaskTel Center, offering the best entertainment for all of Saskatchewan sports fans. Their season has started with leadership from their NBA-experienced head coach, Larry Abney. Did you see him? He was with Snoop Dogg last night. Snoop-a-loop. And Lee Genier. I'm thinking, that's not a road you want to go down, Lee. You and I both know that. Get your tickets now, including for tonight's game. It's Indigenous Night with the Calgary Surge in town at SaskTel Center. Visit Ticketmaster or head on down to the Rattlers front office in downtown Saskatoon. They're home tonight to the Surge, as I said. Listen, here's the inside jokes, because people don't like being left out of inside jokes. I was sitting courtside at a recent home game for the Rattlers with Lee, their president. And you know this story, Darren, but I'm just saying. Are the Rattlers popular with the local ladies, Lee? Because, listen, the ballpark's full of them here in Moose Jaw. They come to watch the guys. It's been going on as long as the world's been spinning. And Lee goes, that's not a road you want to go down, Rod. You and I both know that. And I'm like, no, but we go down it anyways, sometimes at our own peril. So that's the inside. And Snoop Dogg was there, I guess, at SaskTel Center last night. He's wearing a Rattlers jersey and a Saskatoon Berries jersey. And I'm not really asking you for any CEBL analysis or whatever, Darren, other than that's a pretty exciting league, man. Are they getting on your radar, the league?
They're getting on everybody's radar a little bit. I mean, it's great because it's not just, in the West, it's all across the country. It's awesome. I mean, and what we're seeing is, it's important in any league, in any organization. If you're going to last, you need to put down that strong foundation. You got to lay the brickwork, right? And it seems like they're doing that. And I really hope this is a league that's going to last and stand the test of time. And I think they're doing all the right things.
They're growing. They're in year 6. They've now joined us here on Game Plus TV, and I enjoy watching the games here on Game Plus. And by the way, moving on, point 5, speaking of basketball, the general manager of Canada's men's basketball team says the squad is working toward climbing the Olympic podium this summer. 20 players were named to Canada's training camp roster yesterday, including NBA stars Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Andrew Wiggins, and Jamal Murray. Canada basketball GM Rowan Barrett says the group is going to the games in Paris to win. I watched the video of their practice yesterday, and I was like, this looks like an NBA All-Star team. So we're going to win. Now, what more people want to talk about is this. I open up my email this morning, and I get the daily email from USA Today. And what was it about? Caitlin Clark. And so perk up. I want everybody's participation on this. It says, Caitlin Clark continues to prove the doubters wrong. Everybody said she was going to struggle in her rookie season and the team was going to suck. I'm not really I've watched some of the games, but I see the fever of won like 4 in a row. She's having a real good season individually shooting. And the sentence, Darren, in the story at USA Today was that Caitlin Clark is America's most popular athlete right now. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, right now, yeah. Is this a passing of the torch, of the belt? How long do they hold it for? Because Patrick Mahomes was for a while this year. But right now, it's Caitlin Clark. So I always like to just extrapolate it or flip it to Canada. And it was a quick one, open and shut. Connor McDavid is Canada's most popular athlete right now. I can't think that we'd get any argument on that.
Yeah, I don't think they would. I mean, we're talking about Canadians and all the rest. I mean, that will change pretty quickly when the Olympics starts. It will change. We get into the Olympic hype, and there's going to be a lot of successful Olympians. But no, it's got to be, right now, Connor McDavid for sure in Canada. And I understand that Caitlin Clark, I completely believe that she's the most popular athlete right now, based on everything that's gone on throughout the U.S. I mean, a lot of people in her corner, the social media clicks, the viewership, the ticket sales. By every metric, she's winning, which is awesome, and that's what you want to see.
Right. Well, and it's media driven. Don't tell me that it's not media driven, because nobody would know who she was if not for the media carrying the story of her becoming Iowa's all-time leading scorer. But on the thing of who is Canada's most popular, our poll question today is who will win the Conn Smythe Trophy as the NHL playoffs MVP. We came up with this morning, and your options are Connor McDavid, Alexander Barkov, Sergei Bobrovsky, or other. 82% of respondents are saying Connor McDavid. He is Canada's most popular athlete right now, and that's not a passing of the torch thing where Caitlin Clark is now in the U.S., but would you not, if it was anybody else, I got to think it's Patrick Mahomes. Super Bowl MVP, the best team, 3 Super Bowl championships. Is there somebody else that I'm not thinking of?
No, I mean, I'm trying to think of who it might be across the United States. And I don't know if it, because it's so great, it was the opportunity there for Caitlin Clark to jump up, for somebody to jump up and take that, take the baton as the most popular athlete right now. Yeah, sure, Mahomes maybe is number 2, but I think it's a pretty distant number 2.
Judging by our Canadian television and what I see, Caitlin Clark might be the most popular athlete in Canada. As I turn it on, that's all that I see. And I don't get it. And I mean, I don't work in the CFL. I don't work in the CEBL. But I'm like, I would be personally pretty ticked off, especially the CFL that's been around for 100 years. How come we're not getting any coverage? But whatever. It's all about U.S. women's basketball. It doesn't make any sense. Oh, wait, we're getting a team in Toronto, Rod. Sorry. And the other thing, by the way, on the Stanley Cup playoffs, Connor McDavid leading the way, 82% for the Conn Smythe. Alexander Barkov, 9%. Sergei Bobrovsky, 7%. As Serena and I talk about on the Cats and Bolts podcast, which drops this afternoon, morning, I've literally no clue how this Stanley Cup final will end. No idea. So people that said this was the worst final ever, or at least in many years, it's turned into, you have no idea. That's must-see TV in my mind. That's the definition of it. Yeah.
It's so great. It's exactly what you want. So, not knowing what's going to happen, that's why you got to tune in, because you don't know what's going to happen next. So I think it's incredibly exciting. Friday, the ratings are going to be through the roof, I believe, because now you got the rest of the country, I think, is more dialed into this series than they had been through the first 5 games. I think it's going to be great. It has been great. It'll continue to be.
Yes, we will see you in hour 2. How about that?
Sounds good.
The Doughboy, Bruce Dowbiggin, joins us next from Cowtown, and we've got a lot to get into with him. Former host of his own program on CBC, Globe and Mail columnist, best-selling author. If you've got Calgary sports questions or national sports questions, fire them at me now. Andrew Harris on the way in hour 2 in the long segment, by the way. We'll be back in a moment here on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Live, and Spotify.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the City of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
Now the race is on and here comes pride in the backstretch.
Celebrate 40 years of Sawyer Brown.
Some girls don't like boys like me.
With Shenandoah.
You got to get me to the church on the Cumberland Road.
Plus special guest George Fox. Saturday, October 26th, Moose Jaw Event Center.
I'll take the dirt road.
Tickets are on sale now at the Moose Jaw Event Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
6 days on the road and I'm
Sawyer Brown and Shenandoah live.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
We're broadcasting from the Golden Ticket Sports Center. And by the way, I want to give a big shout out to Common Crown Brewing Company. They've been with us for a while now, and I got word they just re-up today. They love what you Calgarians and Southern Albertans are doing for them. They're at 28th Street Northeast. You can stop in and visit their tap room. It's brewed right there, turning your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Check them all out at commoncrown.ca. Let's welcome our good friend Bruce Dowbiggin. He knows I'm a long-time fan, long before we even knew each other. Coming this month, I'm sure it's out right now, the book Deal With It. Bruce and his son Evan's new book, Deal With It. The trades that stunned the NHL and changed hockey. From Espo to Boston in 1967 to Gretz in LA in 1988. Patrick Roy leaving Montreal in 1995. Available now on Amazon. Before we get to that, Bruce, for our Calgary fan viewers, there are many out there. Can I just ask you what the Jacob Markstrom trade signals, what you think it signals for the Calgary Flames franchise?
Well, I think at the end of most people gave up on the team last year, but there was a kind of a flurry towards the end of the year last year. Some of the guys that were brought in trades, Sharon Govich and a group of the other guys, I think there was a sense that maybe they weren't as far away from the next step as people thought they might be. This seems to say, the Markstrom thing seems to say to me that it's not a 1 year, it's maybe 2 to 3 years that they're looking down the road for that team. And that they still try to build up their farm system, trying to get the depth that they want. I think it's the kind of move you have to make. The question will be, of course, whether this young defenseman that they're bringing in is the real deal. People are I wouldn't say skeptical, but people are taking a wait and see here in the city. As you probably know, they still haven't put a shovel in the ground for the new arena. A lot of the time people said, well, they want to have the team ready for when the arena comes online. That, as far as I know so far, that there's nothing new with the arena having started the construction yet. So it's going to be a couple of testing years. We'll see. It would really be great if somehow the Flames had won the lottery like their friends to the north did every freaking time, getting Connor McDavid kind of people. It would be nice, but that hasn't happened. So.
I've spent enough time in Calgary to know I don't even bring up the new arena anymore. It's a sore subject. I hear 100 different things from 100 different people, so I'll just be happy when they're playing in it. Listen, we're going to get to your book because I'm fascinated about it, but you love a great story. You write books. This Stanley Cup Final has become a great story, Bruce.
Yeah, I had at some point, not that I bet much, but anyhow, at some point I had Florida to win 4-1 or Florida to win 4-2. So tonight is the big night, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, it has evolved, and what's always concerned me about Connor McDavid is that he just hasn't had a showcase for people to see how great he really is. He's just a fantastic player. In some ways, he reminds me of Bobby Hull. Some ways, he reminds me of Bobby Orr. He dominates the game when he really feels like it or when he really has to. The first few games, they just couldn't get anything by Bobrovsky. All of a sudden, they're getting stuff by Bobrovsky. And Florida, they now have that feeling in the pit of their stomach that, The thing that, to me, the turning point of this series wasn't the blowout game. It was Connor Brown's shorty in the first period of the last game. And I think that was what really concerned Florida. I think that Paul Maurice looked at that and said, we got to get this back together again. And they haven't yet. And I'll be interested to see what sort of climate. We know what Edmonton will be like. We'll see how Florida handles it.
And by the way, I had Florida in 6 too, but I think that's why I appreciate you, because I think we see things the same way. You're right. Nobody really knew who McDavid was in America. We all know in Canada because it's been crammed down our throat. But I talked to my wife this morning, and she said the talk in the gym in South Florida was about McDavid, and they said he looks like the way he jumped through and set up that goal the other day. Yeah, that's how you're a Florida person. You know what I mean. There's so many Northeasterners down there that do love hockey, and they're all watching right. He looked like So
Number
speaking
4,
of
Bobby Orr.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they love Espo too, and he's the founder of the Tampa Bay Lightning franchise. And so when I saw your book that you talk about that trade, which nobody talks about anymore, the Gretzky trade still comes up, but the Espo trade at the time had to be as earth-shattering. You know, so talk about your new book, if you don't mind.
Well, we chose 8 trades that we think symbolize the development of trades over the period of time. My son, who works at TSN, he runs TSN Stats Center. He and I have worked together on these things. We debated which trades to make. He forbade me to have any trades in the 1950s because he said everybody who's in the 50s is dead now. I said, okay, fine. So we started in 67. And for me, I was, 14 years old in 1967. And the Bruins had been a bad team for a long time. Ord had one season as a rookie. The team was still bad, and they needed something. And for some reason, Billy Ray in Chicago got mad at Phil Esposito and decided to get him out of here. And the Bruins were able to jump in, and it made the big bad Bruins. I mean, they were an exciting team. They were a team sort of like Edmonton is now. The people who don't live in Edmonton are attracted to. Oh gosh, they're fantastic. They're exciting. So that was the creation of the Bobby Orr, Phil Esposito Bruins. And it was probably the most lopsided trade in terms of production between the two. Kenny Hodge, who came over as well, he had 40-goal seasons. Fred Stanfield was their point guy on the power play. It was a huge one-sided trade. The best that Chicago got back was a guy named Pitt Martin. And so it created a great team. And had Bobby Orr's knees held together, that team would have won 5 Stanley Cups. They should have won 5, but I think they would have won 5 if Bobby had had a 15 to 20-year career.
So I'm looking up right now Espo's career, and I think of him as the Bruins to the Rangers. I mean, he's such a special guy, man. We've been around him with our Cats and Bolts podcast because we cover the Panthers and the Lightning, and I'd never met him before. My God, at 80, whatever he is, I can't imagine what he was at 30. But him going to the Rangers, amazing too. Like, is Espo in there twice? For crazy trades?
Well, all of the trades, what we did was, okay, here's the trade. Who are the people who were involved in it? The people who made the trade, the players who were in the trade. And we go back to basically the starting principles. The Doug Gilmour trade, for instance, we start with Cliff Fletcher started the Atlanta Flames because we want to understand Cliff Fletcher and the Flames when they make that deal. Same thing with Boston. We go back and we try to trace all of these guys, and we let you know what happened to everybody in the trade afterward. And so, yeah, It's been interesting because each one had to be different. So the second trade, we concentrated on the Bruin trade, not the Rangers trade. It's mentioned in there. The next one is Frank Mahovlich. We had a debate, should it be the Frank to Detroit trade or the Frank to Montreal trade? My son said Stanley Cups came out of the Frank to Montreal, so we chose that one. The Gretzky trade obviously is in there, but not necessarily just as a hockey trade, because as we know, Gretz didn't win any cups in LA, but it was significant because it was the first time we really had a team that couldn't afford to pay its stars. That was, as you know, Rod, that was the start of a whole period of time in which the Canadian teams had a 63-cent dollar. They couldn't afford to pay people. Gretz goes to LA, and all of a sudden the Sunshine States, where you spend your winter, that they become a place for hockey.
Yeah, I don't rue the day, but that was the last day that I cheered for the Edmonton Oilers. It comes up in my life every single day. We were talking about it in the press box at the Moose Jaw Baseball Diamond last night, the Gretzky trade. But it's not just about the finances. To me, Bruce, how that changed all of sports is that anybody can be traded. Until that day proved anybody can be traded. There's been nothing like it in any sport in my mind.
Yep. That's why we put it in there, was the significance to the league, to the business of hockey, and then to fans. All of a sudden you realize, don't get hung up on a guy because likely he won't be. Remember, you used to get a Gordie Howe jersey and it lasted for 25 years and you could put it in your closet. Nowadays, yeah, you got a guy for 5-7 years, maybe, and then the jersey is redundant and you have to go get something else, the latest place. So that's really significant. And again, we go through the trades. We obviously have the Patrick Roy trade, which is significant because he basically walks out on the Canadians. That had never really happened before. If you're old enough, you remember the Hockey Night in Canada, him going to the owner of the Canadians and saying, "I'm out of here." Fantastic description of it. Yep, exactly. Right. And then the last two chapters, one is about how the Vegas Golden Knights used trades to build their team on the day they did their expansion draft. And the second is about the Tkachuk trade, which, of course, I'll have to update my book a little bit depending on what happens in Game 6 or Game 7.
Oh, you've sold it. You've sold me. I got to read this book. Is it available now? I saw the coming soon. Is it available now at Amazon?
Yeah, you can order it on Amazon. It should be published. We had one of the things about self-publishing. This is the first time we're self-publishing. Is you can go back and correct things or change things. So we went back into to have a few things sort of reorganized because this is our first time doing this. And so the book is available. You can order it, and it comes in Kindle form too. So if you're a Kindle reader, you can get it right away. For the books, they're coming out in the next few days. So yeah, they're available. Give it a chance.
Deal With It is the book from Evan and Bruce Dowbiggin. Bruce, always a pleasure chatting with you. I look forward to when I see you again, face to face. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, Roddy. See you later.
We'll be right back with a sports update and viewer takeover right after this. Andrew Harris on the way in hour 2. We're live on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Live, and Spotify.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
Now the race is on and here comes pride in the backstretch.
Celebrate 40 years of Sawyer Brown.
Some girls don't like boys like me.
With Shenandoah.
You got to get me to the church on the Cumberland Road.
Plus special guest George Fox. Saturday, October 26th, Moose Jaw Event Center.
I'll take the dirt road.
Tickets are on sale now at the Moose Jaw Event Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
6 days on the road and I'm
Sawyer Brown and Shenandoah live.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. Best seat in the house.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now back to the studio with Rod.
So many great and fantastic things come up on this program every day. As you know, that's why you're here. But thank you for being with us. I hope you enjoyed as much as I do. And we do have a wonderful crew putting it all together for you. Thank you, guys. And interesting topics. Like Ryan in Saratoga, New York, watching that Bruce Dowbiggin interview, writes that he says, Bruce is right. The days of seeing one team on the back of a trading card for a player's career are over. I feel like we got to get into that next hour, get deeper into that. Not necessarily why that is, but how does it make you feel? How's that changed your fandom? Because a lot of things have changed from what we were used to, and are we going to get with it, or are we going to stay stuck in the past with how things used to be? I'm not sure. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says the day Gretzky was traded was a happy day in Calgary. I bet it was. And I'm glad that you're old enough to remember that, Jeff, because like producer Clark literally wasn't even born yet. That Battle of Alberta, to me, you think it's wild now, but I don't think this is not 1/10 of what it was, or do we just glorify it? I don't know. Like Alan May was on here with us the other day, Washington Capitals TV analyst who's from Edmonton, and says the party and what's going on in downtown Edmonton now is better than the 80s. And how can I argue? I'm not there and I'm not from there, yet they haven't won the Stanley Cup. Imagine if they do. A sports update here, and we're going to look at the Canadian Elite Basketball League for that. Justin Wright-Foreman's game-high 32 points helped the Winnipeg Sea Bears snap a 4-game losing streak as they fought back for an 88-84 win over the league-leading Vancouver Bandits Wednesday night. Meanwhile, the Brampton Honey Badgers snapped their 7-game skid with an 85-79 home victory over the Montreal Alliance at CAA Center. And tonight, the Saskatchewan Rattlers, proud sponsors of this program, host the Calgary Surge on Indigenous Night at SaskTel Center. Get your tickets at Ticketmaster.ca or at the Rattlers office in downtown Saskatoon. Can't make it tonight? I'll be broadcasting Moose Jaw Miller Express baseball. We have the second of 2 against the Medicine Hat Mavericks tonight, 7:05 at Roswell's Park. Come on out. Sports updates for Landmark Cinemas, now playing at Landmark Cinemas. Bad Boys, Ride or Die. This summer, the world's favorite bad boys are back with their iconic mix of edge-of-your-seat action and outrageous comedy. But at this time, there's a twist. Miami's finest are now on the run, starring Martin Lawrence, Will Smith, Tiffany Haddish, and Vanessa Hudgens. I might actually go back to that again. I'm not joking. That's how much I enjoyed Bad Boys Ride or Die. I was talking, again, the Calgary sports fans, you know, Randy Chevrier, old Chevy, the long snapper for the Stamps, formerly. He was asking me what I thought of it, and I said, it's our kind of movie, Chevy. Fast cars, palm trees, great music. It's all the way, shoot 'em up. It was so funny. I love Martin Lawrence. I love Martin Lawrence. You nasty. Yeah, I'm going. I've talked myself. When, I don't know. We're in a 4-game homestand and going to watch football Sunday, but I'll go back to it because I really enjoyed it. Tell me that it's not the same for you. We were talking about it at the ballpark last night. Reba McEntire sings the Bad Boys theme in the song. I'm not pulling your leg. So next hour, we'll talk about how those trades change sports. Way to go, Bruce Dowbiggin. You've completely changed the topic of the show today. That was kind of the idea. And Andrew Harris will be with us to talk about the Relentless documentary on his Hall of Fame life. I'm looking forward to that. And look a lot more forward to tonight's games in the world of sports. What we do in hour 1, we talk about last night. And there wasn't a whole lot last night. But in hour 2, we look ahead to tonight. So the week 3 kickoff, we've already done our CFL picks. We'll reiterate those.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Everybody, welcome to the RP Show. It's hour 2 of Canada's favorite daytime sports talk show. And making inroads in the USA. How about that? We're on the air in 31 U.S. states on Game Plus television. Big part of their daytime lineup there, and so proud to be. And also on the radio in Atlanta, where we are, Atlanta's NHL show on WQEE, your southern home of sports and talk. And maybe you're watching streaming or listening. I don't know. Just thanks for stopping in. As always, some fun topics have come up. We are a day off here in between games in the Stanley Cup Final. Let's bring the Moose in. Just to recap for all those that didn't see an hour ago, we talked about the Stanley Cup Final. Moving day, I call it. They're all moving up to Edmonton for Game 6 Friday night. And I mentioned how emotions are fraught on both sides. I won't get into it as deeply here, but it's, well, a lot of Canadians have moved on with their summer, certainly fans of the other Canadian teams and the states they did long ago. For the Oilers and Panthers fans, they're on edge. Can you blame them? And Darren and I also made our Week 3 picks in the Canadian Football League. Week 3 kicks off tonight with Ottawa at Montreal. We talked Blue Jays being swept by the Red Sox. A few baseball stories, which let me stop there for a second. The Millers are here working out, some of them getting ready for tonight's home game against the Medicine Hat Mavericks, Moose. I'll have the call at 7:05. I thought again last night, it was a blowout, by the way. It was a blowout. I think what it ends 17-7, I think, for Medicine Hat. But I'm calling the game, checking my smartwatch to see if I have a pulse. And I'm thinking maybe at my point in my life, this is what I need. Not the fast-paced adrenaline of football and hockey and all, but baseball, it's so chill. I got to be honest, I sit there and I'm like, does this even work? You know what I mean? It's fun. The people are great. Maybe this is just what I need at my point in my life. You know what I mean? Chill.
Well,
because I like it.
Yeah. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad it's going well because that's what it's all about. It should be fun and different things at different points of life, man. And baseball is pretty chill. I enjoy it a lot.
Oh, well, I sit there and I look around the ballpark and I think about all the movies, Major League and Bull Durham and all those popular baseball movies. You can see why it's America's favorite pastime. And I'm sitting there like, this is unbelievably slow, but you all seem okay with it. And it's 17-2 and nobody's leaving the ballpark. Like, I don't get it. I would have been gone long ago. So, Rod, what's the world teaching you right now? And as my recovery coach way back in the day said in Montreal, David, he's still in Montreal, he goes, stop chasing the puck, let the puck come to you. Listen to what's being presented to you instead of chasing everything all the time. And it changed my life, and I was like, I quite like this. Now, speaking all that, with change, nice segue, Rod. Bruce Dowbiggin was with us last hour talking about his new book, Deal With It, examining, I think, what do you say, the top 8 game-changing trades in NHL history. The Esposito trade, which Espo was traded inexplicably twice, because he was such a stud, Darren, long before your time, I know. The Gretzky trade in '88, which comes up all the time, but it spawned this discussion from our audience about how the days of a guy being in one place forever are over. And by the way, Ryan said it, Chris Jones said it, Chris Jones, like they are over. And how do we feel about that? How do you feel about that? Because it's certainly changed the fandom of the fans from what we were used to growing up.
Yeah, it has. It's definitely changed. And it's less about, knowing every player on your team and having those intimate, deep relationships. There are still the exceptions, right? Sidney Crosby and Malkin and Letang in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
It looks like they're going to end their careers there.
So far.
McDavid, we don't know. McDavid's only so far into his career in Edmonton, but looks like another one. But it's rare. And I don't really know if this is going to be how good or bad this is going to be for sports, but it's definitely going to be different. Not what we're used to.
Yeah, it's not new though. It's not overly new. Like you say, maybe the guys like Crosby and them are the rarities and the exceptions. And it used to be guys did that their whole career, but it wasn't a hard and fast rule. So, I mean, for me, I don't really get that worked up about it, but I know that a lot of the fans do, which, by the way, speaking of getting worked up, I want to just remind or recap what I talked about last hour. How you can kind of joke with Oiler fans about how the series is going to go. My good buddy, Gibby Gibbons, I'm assuming you watched Game 5 in Florida and couldn't believe how many Oiler fans were there. I was a little stunned, to be honest. The Leaf fans I get. I do. That's the Leafs. But that many Oiler fans being in the building was cool. And by the way, they acquitted themselves well. It's funny how the fan bases are different. Like the Bruins fans are unliked in opposing arenas. And they drink too much. They start fights. They get loud, and it's bad. Leafs fans, they're just annoying, but they don't cause any problems at all. They're the first ones beating on the doors 90 minutes before the game to get in. And they come in and they're just, annoying. But they don't cause any problems. And then there's Oiler fans that they cause even less problems. They're there, they're loud, but they love their team, but they're posing for photos with Panthers fans. Leafs fans don't really do that. It's just different. And that's cool. And I have the one Oiler fan, Gibby, who's bought a ticket for Game 7, and he's bought his plane ticket. He's packed, Darren, to go to Fort Lauderdale for Game 7. I'm like, you understand, Gibby? It might end. Nope. No, I'm coming. And I said, I hope your airfare is refundable. And he thought it was a fun back and forth. But Panthers fans get very angry. You can't joke with them. You can't. And I've been dealing with them for the last 24 hours since clips dropped of our Cats and Bolts podcast, because Serena and I now, too, I guess, pissed off these Panthers fans because we said they haven't faced adversity all playoffs, which they haven't. I mean, it kind of depends on your definition of adversity, but how do you see it? I feel like the Panthers have not faced adversity. And I said to the guy, it's not a criticism. They've mowed everybody. And I also had another Panther fan come to me because in our show, I said they took their foot off the gas, and now here they are, and they might have missed their opportunity to win the Stanley Cup. Because I think it's a 50-50 proposition right now who wins this thing. I really do. And that's on the Panthers for taking their foot off the gas. It happens. The Falcons did it in the Super Bowl. Do you see it the way I see it?
Oh, no.
Or do you see it another way, how this is unfolded?
No, I think it's 50-50 for sure. I think if I'm an Edmonton Oilers supporter, I'm feeling pretty good right now. Your team has all the momentum. There's a difference, though, between having the momentum and closing out a series. The Panthers had all the momentum after, game 3, unable to close out the series yet. Still have 2 more cracks at it. You look at the Oilers still got to win 2. Panthers only got to win 1. But Edmonton's feeling good. They're feeling good. If these last 2 games, the Oilers really haven't dealt with adversity. They've been controlling the way the games have been played, scoring first, getting the upper hand, and it's been the Panthers playing from behind. And in game 6, Florida's going to have a ton of adversity. You're going into a hostile building. You're on the road, because if you come back to game 7 after blowing a 3-0 series lead, tell me, you can't tell me your knees won't be knocking if you're the Florida Panthers. You're sitting there thinking, man, we could blow this whole thing tonight. But, you got to trust the people in place like Paul Maurice, and the leaders like Aaron Ekblad and Matthew Tkachuk and Alex Barkov, that they'll get that group settled down, and we'll have a really good last couple of games.
I think there's absolutely no reason why they can't go back Friday night to the way they played games 1, 2, and 3. That can happen. And that'll depend on them. Serena and I disagree on that, but we agree to disagree, and we don't get in a fight. And to be honest, it's nice. Regarding the players switching teams and those trades that change sports forever, Carlos in Indianapolis writes in and he says, the end of the one-team career, the rise of fantasy sports and sports betting, cheering on players and teams have changed over the decades. Wait, you know what? Thank you for saying that. And can I go one step further? I'll see that and raise you this. Because Serena can't figure out why I don't really have a huge rooting interest in any sports. And I'll tell you why. Because I will never give my soul to a team ever again. And I regret that I've done it in the past. And I've spent thousands seeing coaches and therapists and counselors to get it back, to get my soul back. I'm not giving it away again. That's as a fan, as an employee, nope. So she's talked in our other podcast about how she's been through divorce, she's been through death, she's been through lost jobs, and none of it affected her the way the Edmonton Oilers do. And I'm sitting there going, what? Okay. But I'm not giving my soul to a team ever again, because the teams, and we've all kind of had it. I get it. But your soul ripped out, stomped on, spat on, and thrown out into the disposal bin, I'm not doing that again. And I don't regret it. So the Panthers, I pull for, I cover them, but I'm not giving my soul to a team again. And I kind of think you get that, Darren, because while you're a Leaf fan, I don't think you've given your soul to the Leafs unless I've misread it.
No, I haven't. As a kid, you get all invested and into the team. But I get it. I mean, there is something special, though, when you do let yourself be open to that. And you got to let yourself be open to getting hurt more often than not, because that's what teams do. They let you down all the time because only one team can win a championship, right? And when you get into, places like Toronto or, Vancouver, been a while at Edmonton, but at least they have Stanley Cups. They never give you the ultimate win, right, at the end of the day. So you have to come up with all these secondary feel-good stories, which, are made up in your head. Oh, we got this far. We're happy with what we did. Sports teams always let you down, and yet we keep coming back for more.
Yeah, that's coming from a Leaf fan. I'll say this.
How about that?
My teams have won, whether I worked for them or the ones I cheer for, like the Dallas Stars won a Stanley Cup with my dad. It was the greatest feeling. It happened. 1999. The Saskatchewan Roughriders won 2 while I was broadcasting their games. I have the rings to prove it. The Pats were perennially hurt me, but I've accepted it. And I've moved on. Steve at Buffalo Bill writes in and says, the Vikings will be the last team to let you down when you pass away. That was the old joke about John Frenzy, the Hall of Fame Rough Riders broadcaster. When I die, I want the Rough Riders to be my pallbearers. Oh, why is that, John? So they can let me down one last time. Allie in Texarkana writes in, she goes, Dallas sports fan. Allie, were you cheering for the Stars in 1999? Jeff, the Stamps fan, writes in, he says, Rod's experiences are unique because he has been an employee or in the business. I guess, but I kind of want to go back to being that fan. That's the thing with the Panthers, man. I think they're a little, I don't know, but I feel like they're a little offended because for the last 3 years, they've been inviting me into all these things. The Florida Panthers. I mean, I do love them. And you know this, Darren, but I'm like, I'm good out here. I don't need that. But thanks for the invite. And they just keep inviting. You know, and I'm like, I don't want to know. I don't want to be on the inside. I'm not going to get a ring anyways if you win because why would I? So, no, I'm good. Just out here. And to be honest, all of this reminds me, for all the world, I have to say this, of going to New York City when I was invited to come for intervention training. And I believe I've told you this was very, very intense training, 10 hours a day of learning how to give interventions like the television show to drug addicts and alcoholics and overeaters and gambling addicts and sex addicts and anybody that's addicted to something, you learn how to give an intervention. And on the very first day, we're in a boardroom in Times Square, and they're going around the room asking everybody what they do. There's like 20 of us getting this training, and I was invited to come be there. I didn't even know these people. It was Hightower and Associates out of Los Angeles. We're putting it on in New York. And they're like, there's clinicians and treatment center owners and obviously counselors and all the people from the recovery industry and mental health. And at that time, I was just getting going. And they come around to me, and I'm like, I'm just a football hockey announcer from Canada. I don't belong here. And in the break, the lady that was putting it on, she came over. She's rubbing my back. Zan, we still talk. Zan is her name, short for Suzanne. She's from L.A., and she's rubbing my back. She says, what's wrong, Rod? And I'm like, I don't belong here. For all the reasons I just said, I'm not one of you, and I don't know why I'm here. And she goes, you were invited here for a reason. She goes, this is happening in your life. This is what you're going to be doing. This is your purpose in life, so just sit back and let it happen. And she said, all these people here have to unlearn everything they've learned in their decades in this business. You're a fresh canvas. You're new at this. It's going to be way easier for you. And to be honest, I was talking to a TSN analyst today, and he just asked about my future and professionally, and I said, I'm doing full-time addiction recovery work. That's my focus. And it's easy to me because I've learned all these things. You know what I'm saying? So now I have a second chance as a sports person. I'm not giving away my soul again because I did it once, a few times actually, and it gets stomped. Andrew Harris knows a little about that. He's coming next. I wonder if he's over it. I don't know. But that's my parallel to sports, to my life, which is where things happen out of your control. Get out of the damn way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It makes a lot of sense. You know, sometimes you can't, understanding what you can and cannot control is such a gift. And when you have it, I mean, everything becomes really clear, and you become a lot happier when you start not trying to control the things you're never going to be able to control.
Boom. Okay. I think we're done with you, Darren. You go have a great Toronto afternoon.
Okay, you bet. Thank you.
Darren was, by the way, at the premiere of the Relentless documentary, available now on Apple TV. Do you have the poster, Clark? Or do we want to put it up when Andrew Harris joins us next? There it is, the Running Back Relentless documentary, available now, Prime Video, Apple TV, and of course, Google Play. They premiered it last Friday night in downtown Toronto. Moose was there. All the biggest sports dignitaries were there. But it's all about our next guest, Andrew Harris, who knows I'm a big fan of his. He joins us next to talk about it. We're live on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Live, and Spotify.
Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The 80s Club, live in Moose Jaw. Honeymoon Suite, along with a flock of seagulls. Men without hats. And spoons. All together for one night at Moose Jaw Events.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
We are live from the Golden Ticket Sports Center here in Moose Jaw, where there's a lot of things going on. Yoga classes up here, tennis club over here. The Millers are working out in the batting cages over here. It's a fun place to come every morning and do this sports talk thing. I can tell you that on Game Plus TV, where we got a lot of things going on there too. Clark is telling me that Andrew Harris, they're having a tough time getting him logged in. He's in an airport somewhere, which always presents problems. So, number one, for those that don't know, here's his deal. Four-time Grey Cup champion in the Canadian Football League, spent 2009 to 2015 with the BC Lions, 2016 to 2021 with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and then 2022 and 23 with the Toronto Argonauts. In all of that, he's won 4 Grey Cups, 3 Canadian Bowl champions as a junior with the Vancouver Island Red Raiders. He's a 3-time All-Canadian, 6-time West Division All-Star. He's won the Wally Buono Award, CFL's Most Outstanding Canadian, Grey Cup MVP, CFL rushing yards leader. It's a Hall of Fame career. And it was a documentary on his life that was released on Friday night. It's airing digitally on Apple TV. Just, again, how this whole world has changed. That's how they do it now. It's streaming. That's where you can catch it in Prime Video. Clark, as we're waiting, do we have the trailer or any of that video? Do you want to run it while we wait? Or should I go into a sports update while you get it ready? Okay, because we have a trailer for it. We have video from the red carpet event the other night. Now all we need is Andrew Harris. The viewers writing in, Mandy in Edmonton says, please congratulate Andrew Harris on the doc and his amazing career. Can't wait to see the documentary. It's sure to inspire and spread hope. P.S. Happy belated Father's Day. With what we were talking about earlier, Wayne in BC says, what a great conversation, Rod and Darren. I just sit back and take it all in. Thanks, guys. And BW in Edmonton says, has Andrew joined coaching anywhere? or will he in the future? Well, we'll get to that. What did you have something? Okay, here's the trailer. Let's air it. What the hell? Let's have a look at this thing. Relentless.
I honestly feel like I have no limit. I push limits on the field. I push limits partying-wise. I push limits training-wise. I push limits socially. I push limits emotionally. My biggest fear is to lose or to fail at anything that I do in life.
It's just unbelievable. He came from the Canadian Junior Football League, which most people probably have never heard of, and has one of the best CFL careers in the history of Canadian football. It's unheard of.
The CFL's leading rusher for the past 3 years, Andrew Harris.
Andrew did it his own way. Anybody who played with him knows that that is the case.
Andrew Harris wants to prove a lot of people wrong in the criticism he's faced.
I would never intentionally cheat. I'm in a situation right now where I'm being questioned. My hole that I was in was the darkest, deepest, disgustingest place you want to go to. That's where I want. I'm kind of an insatiable person. I always want more, and nothing really satisfies me. The next chapter of my life is one I'm ready for, but it's also terrifying. I'm terrified of failing.
I'll tell you what, and there's way, way, way more to it than that. But and we have him now. This has worked out perfectly. Four-time Grey Cup champion Andrew Harris joining us from, I understand, an airport. Where are you at, 33? What's your deal today?
Yeah, I'm just at the Billy Bishop Airport. Sorry for the noise. I forgot my headphones today, but yeah, heading back to the PEG. Getting honored at the Bomber Stadium when they play the Lions tomorrow. So looking forward to signing some autographs and having some fun over there.
Good for you, man. And by the way, you sound fantastic, and if possible, you look even better. Before I go any further, the viewers are saying congrats on the documentary. Obviously, congrats on your career. But I want to ask you this, because you did say this. You've walked through the fire, as we say. What does it mean to you to get all this stuff off your chest in this show and kind of be living and breathing for the first time real clear?
Yeah, I mean, it's there's so much that went into it. There's so much, so many emotions. Even from the point of just accepting, the story for what it is, and instead of just hiding from it and really burying my emotions. When you watch the film, if you have seen it, you kind of see two different sides of me, and one that in those dark places really helped fuel a lot of fire on the field. But in tough situations, when things started to kind of stack on and stack against me, really forced me to a breaking point. And it was a dark place for me. Places where I didn't think I was going to wake up the next day, and in all of that, still performing at a high level on the field and going through, the prime of my career, and then how quickly it all kind of shifts and changes. So I mean, I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of the team that to get this out, and it is a story about a football player, but it's not a football documentary. We don't really talk about the stuff on field really all that much throughout the film. It's more about the trauma, the different things going on in my life, and then we kind of allude to things throughout the film, but. Really just proud of, just being able to get myself to the point to expressing this. I've always had this image and thought in my mind of, just bottling stuff up and, don't show your feelings and don't let anyone in. And that's just coming from lack of trust and not letting people understand who you really are. But I'm at I'm at peace now more than ever, and happier than I ever have because of this. And this whole process has been very therapeutic. And my whole goal for this is to help reach not only athletes but people all across different walks of life, and making sure that they can too see if they're in a dark place and they're in a rough spot, that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And you got to put some trust in other people and put yourself out there to help get yourself out of that spot.
So there's the answer, and that's the question I was going to ask you. You didn't need to do this. People, we talked about the 4 Grey Cups, read your bio, it's Hall of Fame. You didn't need to do this. What made you want to get real? Because I know it helps you, but there's more to it than that. Why?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm more proud of how I handled my personal situations and not even handled them, but got through them more than anything. Than anything I've done on the field. And now that I've kind of been through this journey, you talk about junior football, you talk about, being a Canadian running back, and then, you talk about switching teams and going to, back home and all these different things. And yeah, all that stuff's amazing. It's great. But ultimately, like the hardest challenge through all that was the darkness and the issues that I had to deal with behind the scenes. And I just felt like going through this and reaching a certain point, I feel way better about those personal things than I do than the accolades on the field. So to answer your question, just want to be an impact and help change someone else going through something like this, and I think it's going to be able to reach a lot of people in a lot of different walks of life, like I said before.
That's why I'm happy being able to spread the message here on this program today with what you're doing. I'm interested to know this. The film's only been out like a week, and you've been open with your struggles for a while. What kinds of people have come forth and said, Andrew, thank you. You're an inspiration to me. You've helped. That's had to have happened already.
Yeah, so the film just went live today, actually, on Apple TV and Google Play. It'll be on Amazon Prime next week. But we did a show in Toronto on last Friday, and we had a lot of people there that weren't CFL fans or football people, and those were the people who came up to me more than the football watchers, the season ticket holders, and said that this was really impactful to them and relatable. And that's why I said, it is a story about a football player, but it's not a football documentary, so to speak. So wanted to be able to reach all different types of people, and really just shed light on, again, success, downfall, trauma, childhood trauma, and be open with it and raw with it. But yeah, I'm ready for the aftermath of having this out there and just trying to be able to channel whatever comes my way and continue to being an impact in people's lives and giving them maybe some hope in some dark places that they're in.
Well, I can literally see like an aura, like you're vibrating very high. Are you down in weight a little bit, or what's your physical deal right now?
Oh, fatter than ever, Rod.
How about that?
But thank you. Thank you. Fatter than ever.
But it must be a flattering camera angle.
Yeah, it's just the horizontal. I think that's make me look good. No, honestly, I'm gearing up to play senior A hockey this year in Pilsenberg. I'm living out in London right now, so yeah, just getting my hockey routine going on right now. So that is one that's going to be a bit lighter for me, but yeah, honestly, I think it's just overall just mind is clear, healthier living, and just overall happy that maybe you're seeing that from the aura you're talking about. But it's crazy how much emotions play into your physical health and even how you look physically, and it goes a long way, as I'm realizing.
Well, it looks like, and last one, and I'll let you go, but it looks like you are on this road where you're going to do whatever you want to do, and you're going to be a success at everything you've done. And I've seen the coaches and the counselors and the therapists, and they've said, you've been through you've been through the crap. Now it's time to enjoy the good. because there's a reason why you did. And somebody must have told you that. You were given a platform here to help other people. Is that where you're at?
Yeah, that's the big thing. I mean, this game gave me so much, and way more than I expected. When I first started practicing the BC Lions in 2007, 2008, I just thought I was going to crack the practice roster and be a special teamer and basically just grind it out and find my way after a few years. But to carve out a 13-year career and be pretty much a starting role as a tailback my whole career and all the great things. And people, it's the people that gave me so much more than anything. The relationships, and all the adversity helped mold me for the person who I am today. And better teammate, better leader, better father, better friend, better brother. All these things that you can't learn in anything else but sport, or it's really hard to replicate anyways. But again, the game gave me so much, and this is my way of paying it forward in a different avenue that's not necessarily so sport related.
Well, enjoy all the rewards. Let's be honest. You gave the league a lot, and sports fans too. So, Andrew, thanks for this time and making it a priority to get it all set up and come. Safe travels. Enjoy the night tomorrow night, and good luck with everything, man. I've always been in your corner and always will be. You're a champion. Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you so much for your time today, Rod. Appreciate you.
Number 33, Andrew Harris. What a story. Relentless. Available now, as we find out, on Apple TV. Go check it out. We'll be right back with a sports update and whatever you'd like to talk about the rest of the way. We are live on the Game Plus television network, airing across Manitoba, of course, on Bell MTS Cable, channel 1190. Shout out Bomber fans. On the radio, WQEE in Atlanta, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Live, and Spotify.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience in the house.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Broadcasting live from the Golden Ticket Sports Center in Moose Jaw. Just me and you the rest of the way. 902-518-3033 is the number to reach us here on the Sober Carpenter text line, or, of course, streaming if that's your thing. Darcy in Grand Prairie writes in, I got to read this regarding our last guest, Andrew Harris. He goes, wow, that documentary looks amazing. Congratulations from a Rider fan, Andrew. We'll pass it along. But I'll tell you, I've seen it, and it's as good as anything I've ever seen in terms of, like, cinematography. It looks incredible. To be honest, it probably looks, in my mind, better than even Football Life documentaries that you see on NFL Network and stuff like that. It's really, really good. I don't know anything about television. I don't, right, Clark? That's clear. What I know is I know good, and that's really good stuff. This documentary on Andrew Harris, so check it out. Here's your sports update. Canada's national men's soccer team starts Copa America tonight against World Cup champions Argentina in Atlanta. It's the first time Canada has faced Argentina since losing 5-0 in Buenos Aires in 2010. It will also be Alphonso Davies' first game as Canada's captain since his recent appointment. The Montreal Alouettes raise their Grey Cup banner at Molson Stadium tonight before taking on the Ottawa Redblacks. The defending CFL champions are off to a 2-0 start this season following wins in Winnipeg and Edmonton. Redblacks, meanwhile, 1-0. The Edmonton Oilers and Florida Panthers hit the ice today in preparation for Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final, which will be played Friday night at Rogers Place in Edmonton. After dropping the first 3 games of the best-of-7 series, the Oilers have posted wins of 8-1 and 5-3. A mural honoring Baseball Hall of Famer Willie Mays has been unveiled in downtown Birmingham, Alabama. Mays died Tuesday at the age of 93. The mural was revealed ahead of tonight's game between the San Francisco Giants and the St. Louis Cardinals at Rickwood Field, honoring the Negro Leagues where Mays began his career in 1948. The sports update brought to you by EMJ Marketing. Transform your audience with powerful presentations from EMJ Marketing's elite speakers. Check out their website for more information, emjmarketing.com. Also tonight, if you're looking for something to do, there's a lot of things going on in sports. You might want to check out the SaskTel Center in Saskatoon, where the Saskatchewan Rattlers professional basketball team is heating up their season, led by former NBA Raptor Jalen Harris, with talent and a coaching staff from the LA Clippers. Be sure to get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.ca or stop into the Rattlers office in downtown Saskatoon. They got the Calgary Surge in town tonight, 7:30 at SaskTel Center, and also brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. Okay, now I need to bring up, if you're not going to write in, then I'm going to tell my stories. So if you don't want to hear my stories, write in. But Landmark Cinemas brings you the RP Show's sports updates. In Landmark Cinemas now, the Garfield movie. Garfield has an unexpected reunion with his long-lost father, a scruffy street cat who draws him into a high-stakes heist. Now playing the Garfield movie. Check landmarkcinemas.com for showtimes. I went to the theater the other night to watch Bad Boys, and the lineup was far longer than I thought it should be. We've been promoting the Garfield movie for a month, and it was full of kids, and they were all going to the Garfield movie. So I had to wait in line at the concession for that. I'm like, this is a very popular movie. And I said, One little girl had this stuffed Garfield under her arm, so I said to her, "What movie are you going to?" As a joke. And she looked at me like, I know the look. So I go into Bad Boys and thoroughly enjoyed it. As I talked about earlier this hour, Bad Boys, Ride or Die, starring Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. I just love those guys. Don't we all? And in the show, unless I was hearing things, which I don't think I was, there is a rap version, or can I say a country version of the Bad Boys theme performed by Reba McEntire. You got to go to the movie and check it out. And by the way, Clark, I would not advise that you take your kids because there's a lot of swearing.
How about that?
Breaking news, there's a lot of swearing in Bad Boys Ride or Die. Just going to put that out there. I don't know if CC would be down for that.
Hot damn!
Yeah. So anyways, last night, I mosey into the ballpark where I broadcast games for the Moose Jaw Millers. Opened a 4-game homestand last night against visiting Medicine Hat. And there's a guy there that works in the ticket office named Chucky. Buffalo Bill has written in on the text line. He says, "Story time. Approved." It's all true stories here on this show. On this show, they're all true stories. I walk into the ballpark. There's a guy there that takes the tickets. His name's Chucky. And he also works at the Moose Jaw Events Center where they got all the best concerts. So Clint Black is in town next week. Part of the Killin' Time Tour. Clint Black with special guest Carolyn Don Johnson. So I said to Chucky, listen, the Millers are playing the same night as Clint Black. So this is what I'm thinking. I'm going to broadcast the game for the Millers, and then I'm going to race over to the Moose Jaw Event Center. You're going to let me in, and I'm going to catch the encore and the end of the Clint Black concert. And he goes, unfortunately, not happening. Because, folks, it ain't like it used to be. We've all been at those concerts, and the older people watching right now, I'm sure you were back in the day, where the guys would go and play on all night. Not anymore. He goes, Clint Black, because Chucky is the events guy, the sound guy, basically the guy at the Moose Jaw Events Center. So he knows. He goes, I looked at it. I seen the contract. Clint Black will be off the stage by 10, no encore. What? What do you mean? It's all ball bearings nowadays. They don't go on and on and on all night like they used to. Plus, he's old. So I'm like, well, that sucks. Well, I've committed to the Moose Jaw Motor Express. Here's the thing, kids, stick to your commitments. I broadcast their games. I'm not going to bail on them to go see Clint Black that night. Plus, I saw him at Craven 100 years ago, so I'm not like a deadhead. I don't need to follow around and see a guy multiple times. With George Strait, I did, but that's George. I've seen Clint Black. I'm good. So then we got talking about the Bad Boys movie, and I said, Chucky, have you been to Bad Boys? He goes, no. I said, you got to go see it, man. You got to go see it. And he goes, why? And I said, well, there's a Reba McEntire version of Bad Boys, the song. Reba sings it. He's like, no way. I'm like, yes, I believe. People that have seen it tell me whether if I'm lying, I'm crying. And I ain't shed a tear, as Larry the Cable Guy says. Bomber Boy writes in, he says, did you like the innovative style of filming the action scenes? It was all right. I mean, it looked fake. And I don't like that. I don't go in for I've never been a science fiction guy. Those of us that do live in South Florida found it to be a little bit of a pain that they shut down Fort Lauderdale for like 10 days to 2 weeks to film scenes of this movie. It caused a traffic problem in my hood. Yo. But other than that, I enjoyed it. Paul in Humboldt writes in, he says, the RP show has it all. News, inspiration, and therapy. Thanks, RP. No charge. Bomber Boy says they punish you if you go past the scheduled end time. It costs money to pay employees overtime. Listen, I don't know. I don't know. What I know is things have changed. So we don't have Steve Yzerman-type players playing for one team for 19 straight years, and we don't have guys like Clint Black going on till midnight playing songs from the 80s. It don't happen anymore. To sum it all up, don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. It was a great, wonderful time to be alive back in the day. that ain't coming back. There's a union comment in there somewhere that I won't get into. We'll be right back with overtime after this. Keep the comments coming, everybody. Yeah, and movie reviews. Thank you. If you can handle the swearing, you'll really love Bad Boys Ride or Die. Back with overtime after this here on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Live, and Spotify.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Okay, we're back for overtime, and where's Monty today? This is Monty's favorite segment. He always says that. It's brought to you by Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, where skill and fun collide. Go check them out. Tell them Rod sent you. Ask for Randy and Michelle. They're doing a great job there at Overtime Hockey Lanes, and it's a great place to keep your kids busy a day, a week, whatever. Summer camps, monthly memberships. Just go check them out and thank me later. 28th Street Northeast in Calgary. And again, when we talk hockey, it's for Common Crown, as you know. And just got word today that Common Crown Breweries has re-upped with us, and I loved my time in Calgary the last 2 summers. I loved it, not lying, and did a lot of wonderful events there. It was at Theron Fleury's golf tournament where I met the guys from Common Crown. That's a hell of a story, by the way. Did I ever tell you? Story time continues. Yeah, why not? So Theo says, I'm going to put you at this table, and Colin Pedersen was also running the tournament. And it's for the Breaking Free Foundation. What the Breaking Free Foundation does, it's his name's on it, but there's a board of which Colin Pedersen's on and a bunch of great people. And for people that can't afford therapy, trauma survivors and victims, Breaking Free Foundation provides free therapy for them by raising money to pay for it for the counselors. So I am seated. We had a hot stove, and it was great with those 2 donkeys, Theo here and Pedersen here. And then to eat, Theo goes, I'm going to sit you at this table with these guys. And I didn't know who they were. And they didn't really know who I was. So we're sitting at the table, and one of the guys is like, where do I know you from? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know where you would know me from. I'm not from here. I'm from Saskatchewan. Why? I don't know. Where would I know you from? Did you in sports at all? And I'm like, well, I used to be. I was the voice of the Rough Riders for 20 years, and I did the Pats, too, Regina Pats, for almost as long. The Rod Pedersen Show. I watch it every day. Oh, that might be where you know me from. And the guy was one of the main investors for Common Crown. Calgary Stampeder season ticket holder, yada, 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 goes to every Grey Cup. I think he's on the committee where they bring the horse into the hotel, and it craps on the floor of the hotel. And next thing you know, they're sponsoring the show. Thanks, Theo.
Yes.
It's the way it's supposed to work. That's what I was told.
Right on.
So where was I going with all of this? I feel like nowhere fast. Other than Bruce Dowbiggin was with us last hour, and I don't know who's going to be the rock star of the day because they were both great. Probably Andrew Harris, recency bias. But Dowbiggin was great, too. And we talked about the Flames and the Jacob Markstrom trade, and it's like, I don't know what it is about Dowbiggin. He was ahead of his time, too, because I kind of feel like I am. Dowbiggin had his own show on CBC, and he talked about stuff on there that people didn't like talking about. He said things that people didn't like being said. And when you do that, they tend to give you your own show, but you piss a lot of people off. So he brought up last hour that there hasn't been a shovel put in the ground yet for the new rink in Calgary. And I'm like, I'm not even touching that. Nope. Because it just gets so many people worked up and mad, and I don't know where it's at. And you ask questions, and the leaders get angry, and I'm like, I'm not here for that. Nope. Let me talk about something that I know. I go back to Theo and all the crap that guy's gone through, all of it. It's funny how we are all kind of lumped in the same group. Outlaws, which is fine. Theo ain't going in the Hockey Hall of Fame for whatever reason, even though he's got a Stanley Cup and an Olympic gold and a World Juniors gold. Whatever, they're afraid of Theo. He don't care. And then he went through what he went through, has put him in a position to help people in life in a crappy spot. And then you got Andrew Harris just saying that. You know, when you have suicidal thoughts, which, by the way, he talks about in the documentary, so I'm not telling tales here. When you have suicidal thoughts, you think the world would be a better place without you, or you don't want to participate in this world anymore. Normal people don't do that. You need to seek help immediately. And then we'll get you on the right path, and we'll fix it. But the thing is, suicide is permanent. We ain't coming back from that. We can't have that. Jeremy Shackleton waits till now to bring up the Pierre-Luc Dubois trade. What are the Caps thinking? You just never know what these teams thinking, why they're doing it. How does Pierre-Luc Dubois keep fooling teams? I know what you're saying. Washington's done some weird things, too. And by the way, champion here for second, third, fourth, fifth chances. I don't know Pierre-Luc Dubois. Everybody seems to like him that knows him. They see the talent there. Maybe they think that Washington stop will be the thing that finally gets him going. Look at Bob. Talked here yesterday about Philadelphia giving up on him early in his career, probably regretting that now. Mandy says, Rod, are you going to watch the running back Relentless? I watched it. It is fantastic. When the guy wrote in here earlier about the special effects of the Bad Boys movie, I thought you were talking about the Andrew Harris documentary, because there's some radical, to use a 90s term, effects in that show. Gosh, they did a great job of it. Clark has the Kemper trade details down. You can read it there. Bomber boy, centers are worth more than other positions. Says who? Again, I kind of think goalies are, but it kind of depends which side of the wiener you're on, which side it rolls. What's the most important position out there? I kind of think they all are. I get what you're saying, but it shifts, right, in terms of importance, who's available, supply and demand. So, yeah. David, number one, great show, RP. Have a wonderful day. Jeremy, I'd rather draft and develop a center than pay a guy who doesn't show up. Sure, more than one way to skin a cat. Join us tomorrow, everybody, for a Football Friday. Enjoy the sports. Thanks for checking us out today. McFly, hello.
How about that?